Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dark Art Society podcast. I'm your host, Chet, and this week we have John Kenn Mortensen joining us. You may know his work from when it went viral about 13 years ago, so he says. I remember it. Cool little monster drawings on Post-it notes, yellow Post-it notes, if that rings a bell. So you've probably seen his work. It's really, really great. I love it. I've been a fan ever since I've first seen it, and very excited to have him on. Just finished the interview a couple hours ago, and it's really a great one. Just such a cool guy, such a great person, and a great artist. So I really enjoyed it. So I think you'll enjoy it too. What's been going on with me? You might be wondering. Well, I'm working on mystery boxes. We have almost all of them shipped out, except the expensive $500 mystery boxes. And those are we're going to start working on finishing or getting those together. We haven't put any of those together yet, but all the stuff is there. We just need to compile them, and I'm still making a couple things for them. So they should be shipping out. Probably they should be all shipped out by the end of next week. I'm hoping. I think we're going to be able to get everybody's out by Christmas and with no problems, because we're definitely ahead of schedule. So that's exciting. That's good. It's a load off my mind. Also, if you, we just sold out of them too. I just sold out the last couple, so those are sold out. I am having a special, I don't want to say much about it, but I am doing a special drop this week, at the end of this week, of my Patreon, something I haven't showed pictures of anybody or to anybody. No one knows what it is. So that's coming up. If you want to, if you're interested in seeing what that is, join my Patreon, patreon.com/ChetZar, and you can join for as little as $1 a month. Super cheap, super affordable. Same goes for the Dark Art Society Patreon. You can join for as little as $1 a month, and that's patreon.com/darkartsociety. And I really appreciate everybody who is in our Patreon already. You're the reason I can afford to make this podcast. And, we are a small little niche kind of podcast, and in a small little niche kind of art movement, but as we band together, we become stronger, and the whole movement becomes stronger. So anyway, I appreciate your support for those of you who are supporting on the Patreon. If you join the Dark Art Society Patreon, you also get the $5 and above level. You get a coupon code to get 20% off a Skull Shop skull. Sorry, the jaw fell off. Really great skulls, great company. I fully endorse them. What else is going on? Am I forget? Oh, yeah, you get your name read on the air. Why can't I ever remember this? It's always like every time it's like doing it for the first time. I can't remember anything I'm supposed to be doing. I just have too much stuff going on. I'm doing the best I can. We have 2 new subscribers this week. First is Arpeggio Remedi, and she's an artist, and I just bought, hopefully my wife's not listening to this, because I bought her a beaded pin of a cigarette. It's so great. From her web store, Arpeggio Remedi. So check her out. Yeah. And thank you, Arpeggio. And then Greg Loudon. Thank you, Greg, for supporting. All right. Couldn't do without you. Is there anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else. Although once I'm done with this, I'll probably remember something I forgot to say. Anyway, who cares? Nobody cares about the intro. We want to hear the interview with John Kenn Mortensen. All right, here we go, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, John.
Hello,
Welcome to the
Chet.
podcast.
Is I don't know how it it's pronounced.
Chet.
Chet. Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
cool. Hello, Chet, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for coming on. I've been a fan of your work since I think it went viral with your little post-it note drawings,
Yeah,
those yellow ones. It went viral, right? I mean, it was pretty. I
yeah.
remember seeing it everywhere. When was that?
That was like 13 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
around. Yeah,
That sounds about right.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
so.
I had those. There was this. I'm gonna call him a young man, but this a film director contacting me saying like, I love your stuff. I grew up with it. And I was like, you can't grow up with my, I mean, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been around for like 10 years and he's only in his 20s.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh yeah, I've been around for half of his life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get that. I get that way too often. Like people that are like, "Yeah, I used to be into your stuff in junior high school or high school," and I'm like, "Oh God." Yeah. I was, going through your work, just trying to find stuff for thumbnails and
Hmm?
just looking through it, and I really love it. I really, really love it.
Thank you.
I feel like if I wasn't painting, I would be doing something like this. Like every all the designs, the situations, the type of the way you draw monsters, it's just like completely in line with my aesthetics and my taste. So I feel
Yeah,
just like this total connection to it. Like I just totally relate to it. Like it's just great. And
that
it's
makes
like
me really happy.
there's no part of it that I'm like, I don't really like that he does this. It's like all of it is just, I just love it. I really love it. It's really
Oh,
amazing.
great. Thank you, man. I
I
mean,
love it.
it's, I mean, you've also been around the field like forever.
That's true.
Since, I mean, but I remember your stuff from way back and yeah, but I mean monsters and horror is just it's just amazing. It's a place where I feel safe and comfortable.
I know, right? We must be
Yeah.
fucked up. We must be fucked up, or like some wires have
Yeah.
crossed or something. I mean, but the thing
Yeah.
is, they're all the monster people are so nice. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean it's the suits you need to be afraid of.
Yep, those are the scary ones.
Yeah.
So, okay, I gotta have a cigarette here. I'm one of the few Americans who still smokes. It's
Oh,
terrible.
it's yeah, it's
Or at least Californians. No one smokes in California.
okay, but yeah, they've I don't know in the States, but in Denmark they've made it pretty difficult for smoking.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, I used to smoke. I stopped when I was 30, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 15 years ago.
That's good.
Yeah, I
I need to
think
quit.
so.
I need to quit. But I get in these conversations, and the first thing I want to do, I got coffee, light up a cigarette. It's such a great feeling
Yeah.
to have a
No, I
conversation
have
over.
advice. I mean, I'm having a beer, so
Oh yeah, it's late for you, right?
mhm.
It's yeah.
Yeah, it's 7 what is it, 7 p.m. 7
Yeah.
in the evening here. Yeah.
So it got dark like 4 hours ago for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in Denmark. You're
Yes.
Danish.
Yes.
I have a friend who came out, who was a student of mine. He's Danish.
Hmm?
His name's David Trost. He's a tattoo artist, and he came out to learn painting for a week or two, I think, years
Hmm?
ago. So we talked a lot about that. Was my first exposure to Denmark, really,
Yeah.
and it sounds amazing to me. It sounds like a really great place to live. He was complaining about the taxes and stuff, but I'm like, you guys get
Yeah.
all this stuff taken care of, though. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Here, they'll let you die in the street if you don't have money. Yeah, seriously, it's like scary,
Yes.
but it sounds
So
like a great place.
it is like a kind of a semi socialist,
Hmm.
capitalistic country. I mean, it's not socialism, but we have high tax rate and
It's like
a
democratic
well
socialism.
developed what you say what's it called yeah, this state is really well developed. We have free healthcare and we get paid to study to get an
Wow.
education.
And
Yeah,
that's so amazing.
yeah.
It's just
But
like
yeah,
dog eat
we're
dog out
so
here, man. Over here.
we're 8 million people. I mean, that makes it easier, I
That's
think.
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's easier with a smaller country. So, uh, yeah. Let me hear. I would love to know your story. How you got started. There's a lot I
Yeah.
want to ask about you, but maybe we could get out of the way. We could get just like your origin story, your artist origin
Okay. Yeah.
story first, and then I could ask you some other questions.
Start with the prequel.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've been drawing since I can remember. I mean, and also since before I can even remember. I was a weird kid, and I started around in daycare when I was around 2. The the daycare, what's it called? The daycare attendant, the kindergarten teacher. What's
Mm-hmm.
it called? I don't know. But she seems she because there was a lot of worries about me being, I mean, super weird and quiet. But she said that I was like I was very noisy when I drew, and she said like I had a knack for it, and my parents should you know.
Encourage you.
Take it in and encourage me to draw, and I've just been drawing and drawing and drawing, and not talking to anybody, not saying a sound, just
That's
drawing and
that was
drawing
me. That was me too, man.
and being thrown around in the system by teachers and everyone going like, "What's up with this dude? Is he okay?" And it was like the shrinks and the doctors was looking at me and saying, "Yeah, he seems fine. He can like answer the questions and everything. He's just weird." So I guess, yeah, and I was afraid of everything, and
Hmm.
uh, but I had luckily there was other weird kids around
Oh,
from
you
the
had other weird
beginning.
kids. That's helpful.
Yeah, that was really really helpful. And my my sister was I have a bigger sister, and she was hanging out with bad crowd. So I was like, because I think I would have been bullied like to death if it wasn't because of the people my sister hang around
Mm.
with. So I was kind of like safe.
Right.
So I just got to be a nerd, and I was left alone, and I'm super happy about that, because I mean, I'm afraid of bullies and I really hate bullying. And I mean, of course, a lot of the I mean, I have a huge friend base in the metal community and the horror movie community and the role playing community, and so there's so many misfits and geeks and weirdos, and they all have like horrible stories about bullying and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I was really, really lucky not to be bullied. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. But to get back to the origin story, I was just drawing, and there wasn't. I mean, it was the '80s, and I was in public school, and they didn't know what to do with me. And when they said, "Well, so what do you want to do?" I said, want to draw. I want to make movies and draw and write books." And it's like, yeah, but something else. Choose something more, you know.
Don't you want to be a doctor or a
Yeah,
lawyer?
yeah, yeah. They were aiming lower. I mean, something within your reach, sweeping the pavement and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but when uh, I moved to, I was in a boarding school when I was 15
Hmm.
in Copenhagen, and I'm from a small dinky island that's like it's some this uh, don't take offense of this, but it's called the Texas of Denmark.
Okay.
Um,
I don't live in Texas.
no,
I don't
no,
take
but if there
offense.
was any listeners, then no offense. But there wasn't that many opportunities. But Copenhagen really opened up, and I got to meet other kids that was also weird and
Hmm.
was also into to metal music and horror movies. And we started doing horror movies and found out that there was a lot of opportunities even in Denmark for being an artist. So
Oh.
yeah, but then I've kind of found out that smoking weed and drinking beer was super interesting and fit really well together with being in the punk scene and the metal scene. So I did that for a long time, and I was doing just doing band posters and covers for albums and stuff like that, and having I worked in a kindergarten as a like substitute
Oh, really?
teacher or something like that. Yeah. uh, 'Cause I don't know how could I mean I really dislike kids, but so I don't know how pulled it through, but I, I kind of did. Um, and then I started. I needed some kind of education because um, I have a problem with depth perception. It's
Oh, really?
also why all my perspectives are so fucked up
Hmm.
in all my drawings.
Hmm. Huh.
And I'm partly colorblind.
Oh, I didn't. How interesting. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
and I'm super lazy. Painting has not never been an option for me because it's like, okay, so you have to strap this canvas up on this, and you have to get nails, and then you have to paint it, and then you have to, and then you have to clean up everything afterwards. It's like this is never gonna happen, man. This is just I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to uh, write, and I just wanted to do everything,
Hmm.
just everything, just it, but mainly just with horror.
Hmm.
So so I got a bachelor degree in character animation.
Oh.
Yeah. But that was some kind of way for me to like kind of get into the workshop of movies and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, English is my second language, so I'm gonna be looking for
That's
words.
okay. You're,
Words for
yeah, no, your English is excellent.
thank you. But so yeah, so and then I did my graduation movie called Fishing with Spinoza. It's about two weird creatures in a boat
Hmm.
fishing for huge fish, and then they talk about the philosopher Spinoza.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Is it in your style, like the style that you're doing now?
yeah, kind of.
Oh,
Oh,
that's cool. Is
a
it
bit
online?
more toony. Yeah, it's on. You can find it on YouTube.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and then they did two music videos for a Canadian Danish band called Set the Shark and a Danish band called A Kid Hereafter.
Hmm.
And there's no money in these, and I did
Yeah.
it everything in and it's old school animation, 2D. It was before computer animation, so it
Hmm.
was traditional old school animation. And then I started working at a production company, and uh, it's the film industry is so different in Denmark than in the
Oh,
States.
I bet. Yeah.
There's like no money at all, but
Wow.
there's like it's more talent driven than producer driven.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I
Is it
started
public?
work.
Is it publicly funded or anything?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Our main TV channel in Denmark is publicly funded, and they're like have basically a monopoly. So it's both kind of communism and but they work it as a hardcore capitalistic Nazi headquarters. So it's we have a bit of everything.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah. So I was doing everything from I was directing. I was animation director,
Mm.
and I was voice directing voices. It was they did a lot of children's TV
Hmm.
shows, and I was doing voices, and I was doing puppeting,
Oh wow.
that's it. And I directed 3 puppet
Wow.
shows, and
How did it take you a long time to rise up through the ranks, or how did you do that?
no,
No?
it's yeah, it's small. I mean, the
Okay.
industry is super small in Denmark, and it was. I worked as an intern on a guy called Anders Morgenthaler, who's a Danish film director. He did an animated movie called Princess. That's and it's for it was not a kids animation. It was a grown up animation
Okay.
for adults. And he saw my when I was there as an intern, and then I did my graduation movie, and he really liked my graduation movie, so he took me on as like just a guy to do everything,
Like an
kind of.
apprentice kind of.
Yeah, yeah, like an apprentice.
Hmm.
And yeah, we worked really well together for 4 years, and uh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Uh, yeah, so it was pretty easy. It was also, I mean, I didn't get paid anything, so that was kind of
Okay.
rising in the ranks. So
That
just
helps.
like, yeah, doing like, so you want to do this for free? It's like, yeah, I can do that.
Hey, so people are you always hear it on, especially online now. You see people saying, "Never do anything for free. Never always charge your rate and stuff." But there are times when you should do things for free, especially when
Yeah,
you're new and starting out. I did a lot of, I've done a lot of stuff on spec that did eventually pay off. You just
yeah,
have to choose the right people to do free stuff for,
yeah, and you just get a huge network by doing
Yeah,
that, and you
and
meet a lot of people, and you
that's
learn
half.
a lot of stuff. Also, because
Yeah,
it feels better botching shit when you don't get paid for it,
true.
and you
True. They can't
try.
really say anything.
Yeah. So I found it really helpful, not getting paid that much. But
Yep.
yeah, and then I started because I was doing 2 TV shows simultaneously, directing both, and one of them I had both written and directed, and then I had twins, uh, and I was just stressed out of my mind. I was dying, and then I started just doodling these drawings on post-it notes, because there was always like a black pen around and
Hmm.
post-its, and then when I was just zoning out, just drawing that, and that's how it started. And also, I was tired of always having to, in the movie industry, you always had to, like, if you had an idea. So I was like, oh, this is a great idea. And it's just like one scene. And it's like, okay, so now I have to make a story for this fucking scene.
Right.
Then I have to get it funded and everything. And then like 5 years later, it's like, oh, the scene is not in the movie anymore. And it just starts. So I was like just drawing like small scenes, like
Yeah.
that just came to mind, like these strips of everything. It's just, and there's no real story behind it, just like a moment. It is also,
Hmm.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s with video VHS cassettes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid and I was too young to legally rent all these movies, I would just spend like hours in the equivalent to Blockbuster back then,
Mm-hmm.
just walking around, just looking at all the cassettes and looking on and the pictures on the back, and just imagining how cool these movies were.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, when I got old enough and I got to watch a lot of them, they really, really sucked. But I mean, a lot of them, especially the what's he called, Roger Corman
Mm-hmm.
movies. I mean, New Barbarians and everything. They had really, really beautiful artwork,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
And the
then it's
movies
like,
are shit.
yeah. So yeah, so so it's kind of like back to basics and back to the idea of not, just forgetting everything about beginning, middle and end, just not having,
Yeah.
just maybe just having a middle,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
moment and stuff like that.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then put it on them on a like, I had a friend make a blog spot for me because I didn't even have a computer back then.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I got my first computer in 2009, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I'm a late bloomer. I mean, I had a work computer, but not my own
Right, right.
computer. So I just started putting these post-it notes up on the web, and it just, and it went viral, and then and then I quit my job. It's like,
Wow. That's
yeah, I'm
amazing.
out.
So-
And
wow, wow. So did you have a way to did you figure out a way to monetize it right away, or were you selling these post-it drawings,
yeah,
or
I had the day I found out I was gonna quit was I had a huge argument with my boss, and my producer kind of threw me under the bus in a way, and s- and I had a gallery show with the post-it notes, and I was putting them up, and the show was supposed to open the next day. I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna quit tomorrow." And then came the next morning and said, "I'm sorry. I always do things very politely because I'm uh, we have a Danish word for it called conflict shy.
uh-huh.
I tend to avoid conflict." It's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna quit." It was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this project, and then I'm not gonna renew my contract." Kind of quitting in that way. So and then I had the opening, and then it was sold out
Wow.
within a few hours, and then
So cool.
it was cool, and I thought, yeah, now I'm gonna be a star, and then everything just kind of went really, really slow. And it's also when people say like, "Wow, I grew up with your stuff." It's like, yeah, but I haven't really made it yet. It's just like I feel like I'm still in the process of, you know, making it.
Well, I feel the same way too, and other people think
Yeah.
like I'm this huge artist or something. I guess it depends your perspective, but I
Mm.
still feel like um I still feel that way. I think every artist feels
Yeah.
that way, especially doing visual art like we're doing. It's like it's
Mm.
not there's not a ton of money there for us. It's not
No.
like being like some huge celebrity actor, or there's no opportunities
Oh,
for people doing stuff like us to make like $10 million or something. You know what I
no.
mean? It's like they don't really exist. So
Yeah.
we're just kind of like on our own little weird path. But
Yeah.
as long as you can make enough to live comfortably and pay the bills,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
In
That's
that
good with
sense, I
me.
really feel like I've made it. I mean, I
Hmm.
feel like I'm still struggling, and I'm always like, kind of like, I wonder what's gonna happen next month.
Yeah, wow.
Um,
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
yeah.
That's like, pretty much everyone that comes on this podcast. We're all of us are kind of like,
Yeah.
month to month.
Yeah.
It's I think it's just kind of the artist's life,
Yeah.
unless you get to this really high spot somehow. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And in our kind of art, it doesn't seem like there is like this runaway star that's just
right.
making millions doing it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like, how would you do that? And
yeah.
unless unless uh, the I don't know, the big blue chip galleries took an interest
Yeah.
in this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
maybe then, but
Yeah.
they don't really give a shit at this
No.
point.
Yeah, no, we've been around for ages, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna give a shit.
No.
Um, because I mean, you can see with graffiti and street art, it
Right.
has been along for short amount of time, and it has exploded, and the artist within that world has exploded. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we've
because
been around for like hundreds of years. I mean,
yeah,
dark, lowbrow art. I mean, it's
totally.
just
Yeah, and I remember when that whole street art explosion happened. When it first happened, it was just like
Mm,
the mainstream of the or the high end blue chip galleries just accepted it. They just
yeah,
accepted it, and so then they got all these huge shows, and it's you know, um,
yeah,
since we don't really have that opportunity, we just kind of have to make our own opportunities by selling our work
yeah,
and just making a living wage, and
yeah,
and you got to be happy with that. Although I'm still trying. I'm still thinking. I'm still open to it. You never know. You never know. Because
yeah. You know, yeah. I'm telling my wife that as well. I mean, I'm an artist. Maybe one day
you
gonna
just
strike gold.
you never know. You never
Stick
know.
around, baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So wow, that's great. That's a cool story. Are you do like some for some of your maybe newer work? You do some processing in Photoshop now, with where you're kind of like
um,
darkening around the edges
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. I try to do as little as possible.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It doesn't look like very much. I just was
no, I'm
wondering.
mostly just tweaking the contrasts,
Hmm.
uh, and then sometimes I will put like a scanned piece of blank paper with some texture
Mm.
into to make it warmer, because then I will change the yeah the contrast and everything with that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
put the other thing on top, and then
That's
yeah,
cool.
multiply it and stuff. I'm really I bought a Cintiq a few years ago, and I
Oh,
had it for 3 months, and then I sold it again.
I've never gotten one. I have the
No.
little. I have the tablet that's separate.
Yeah,
I've
I
always
have that
just
as
used
well.
those, and they work fine. So I never really
Yeah.
felt the need to be looking at the monitor while I'm drawing, because
No.
I started using it pretty early on, maybe in
Yeah.
the early 2000s, and it just I got used to it. So
Yeah.
and they work great.
Yeah. But I'm a huge fan of yeah, kind of being the and I think I need to feel it, the
Definitely.
paper and the pen, and see the pen on the paper for
Mm-hmm.
me to believe it exists, and also need the small mistakes and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I need the concentration when I've been drawing in Photoshop. It's just like 5 hours after, it's like, what the fuck is this? Didn't do that. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also because I don't really do color, so there's always just this really, it's just black and white. Like the contrast is so it's so hardcore, the contrast. So I tend to fill in everything.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really not good with drawing in Photoshop.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't need to be.
No,
Your stuff's perfect the way it is. It's kind of I you probably your stuff is actually really well suited to animation. I'm surprised you haven't done like gotten some kind of deal to do some animated show or something. Because you,
Yeah,
all of your, I mean, all of your stuff would be per- easy to animate. I think for animators, you know what I mean?
yeah. Um, I mean, I've yeah. The problem with because uh, I've been wanting to do that since forever, but
Right.
it's just finding the right place and the right uh, yeah, time and place for everything. Also,
Yeah.
because I mean, it needs to be 2D. I think
Yeah,
like
for sure.
traditional 2D
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Just I could see your I mean really, here's if I was like a producer and I would if I had the money to produce an animation of yours, I would do it um I would do it on that yellow background,
mhm,
the post-it note color background, and I would do it just exactly the way that your drawings look and have animators just hand draw everything and
yeah,
fill in how they do it in movies, do the fill in work. It would be
yeah,
really cool, but you'd have to come up with the whole story. Although
yeah,
you could, but the thing is, what could be cool? I don't know how you could make money from it, but you could make little short films just based around the image somehow, like prior to it, and maybe how it ends. Just like a
mm.
little bit before and a little after, little 5 minute shorts or 3 minute
Yeah,
shorts or
but
something.
that's I mean I mean it's been like that for years now. But as we speak, I am working on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I mean, in the process of just finding because um, yeah, of course, people who are going to finance it also wants it to be somewhere, and it's
Yeah,
just with short films and
yeah,
breakers. I mean, we don't have MTV anymore. If MTV was around now, like it was back in the
right.
90s,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I could become like, this the new Bill Plimpton or something.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or maybe that would be amazing. That would be the dream, to make just like these MTV breakers.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well, I think the thing nowadays, the new version of that would be to put them on YouTube and get show that you have get a lot of views.
yeah,
If they took off and
yeah,
went viral again on YouTube, then you might be able to get some financing or even monetize your
mm,
channel and
yeah,
um, I I got I monetized my dark art. This is going on YouTube, also.
mm,
And I started doing the video podcast a year or two ago, and I finally got my channel monetized, and so I make like $5 on a good episode. so, so I make like $20 a month,
okay,
but
yeah,
I'm building it. You never know. If it keeps
yeah,
growing, it might turn into something. If not,
yeah.
it's like, whatever, $20. Maybe I'll get $100 someday. But, but,
Uh,
I mean, I would love to see that YouTube. I would totally be a fan of that YouTube channel where you had like little short animations up there.
yeah,
It'd be really cool.
it's not
But,
it's not a bad idea. But I did recently last year. I did a 2 minute animation for a heavy metal festival here in Copenhagen
oh,
called
cool.
Copenhagen.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just the promo, but I didn't want to do it in my style, also because there was not really that much money in it. So, and we didn't have that much time, so we did it in this, the old school rubber hose animation
Hmm.
style, and we had Manuel from Leonardo.
I don't know.
Uh, okay, oh, you should check that out. She's pretty fucking cool, and he's like the nicest rock star I've ever
Oh, really?
met. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
cool.
but he did the music for it, and he even had like found he's uh, from Switzerland, or he lives in Switzerland. He's American, Swiss,
Hmm.
and he found this fiddler or
Hmm.
violinist that plays the way they played in the 20s and the 30s, and
Oh,
that's
cool.
apparently there's not many of them around. But I'll send you the link for it afterwards. You have to check that out. It's pretty cool,
Oh
and it's
yeah, I'd
one
love to
of my
see.
best friends who did all the animation. I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
he
cool.
2 minute and the cleanup and the coloring, and it's in traditional 2D. So
That's great.
that was insane, and it was really, really. Oh, it wasn't fun actually. It was a
Yeah.
nightmare, but it's really cool afterwards.
Yeah.
Now I look back at it and say, "Oh, that was great." I was like, "But you didn't sleep for 4 months."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of work doing animation, but you've
yeah,
got like a really big following on Instagram too. You got like 300,000 followers.
yeah. But I mean, it's just I can't. Instagram has just kind of died in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, uh, because in the old days, everyone, I mean, everybody who followed me would see what I put up, but now it's like now it just goes out to like 1% of my
I
following
know,
who
I
actually
know,
sees it.
I know.
So I'm also getting lazy about putting stuff up because there's just nobody there to receive it. I feel like, and
Right, yeah. But
yeah,
but that's the thing is it's like you get like just a percentage of people that see it. And
mm,
I think it is like about 1%. That's how
yeah,
it is for me because I got like 124,000 and I get
mm,
maybe 1,200 likes. I think that's
yeah,
1%, isn't it?
yeah.
Or
Oh, math, man.
or is that 10? I don't know. It's a small percentage, but
Yeah.
the point I guess I was making was if you did do something like a YouTube channel or an animation um,
Mm,
series, you would because you are even 1% of 330,000 is still kind of a lot of people. So you know
yeah,
you'd be able to promote it and market it there. Um,
yeah,
also, if you know promotions in reels, you know, because reels get pushed to the top of the feed. I think animated
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
gets more likes and all that stuff. But
yeah,
is that from your that's a that lar I was impressed with that number of people. Did that come mostly from your viral
yeah. I
moment
didn't
in the
do
beginning?
anything.
Really?
I did, yeah, it was, yeah, but I think it came like really fast in the beginning just because Instagram was just perfect for it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so didn't really do now because now you have to do you have to do reels and you have to have faces. I
Yep.
mean, I never put my face on Instagram, so it's just
Yeah. I don't
and
either.
the algorithm sometimes it thinks that it's the same drawing as another one I put up, and
Hmm.
then it gets less, and I can't tell the algorithm, dude, this is not the same fucking drawing. What I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't
Yeah.
know where the fuck algorithm lives, but I like to kick its ass.
I
But
know. Everybody hates it. Nobody likes it. Nobody's satisfied. I never heard anybody who's like satisfied with any of these social media platforms, you know?
no, but it's also because I mean, Instagram was just perfect. It was beautiful and perfect, and then yeah, then these assholes bought it, and then they wanted to make it into. I think they want to make it into TikTok now. So now we have
Mm-hmm.
to dance
Yeah.
and mime stuff, and
Uh,
I don't mind doing that, but I don't want people watching me doing that. Do that shit in the shower.
yeah, I know. It's annoying. Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, what's your day like? Are you you know, are you constantly making new pieces or do you like make pieces for or okay, if you're here's how my day is like. I'm wondering if your
Yeah.
day is like mine. It's like I'm kind of dealing with business stuff in the first part of the day, stuff for my website, sales, shipping, and all that stuff.
Mm.
And the second part is I'll do artwork. I'll create stuff as needed when I need to make money for paying bills. I sort of
Mhm.
unless I have a show, which I'll try and set time aside for to work on the show, and that becomes my priority. But generally, it's like I'm creating new stuff when I need money, which is usually every
Mm.
month,
Mhm.
you know, or having sales, pushing
Yeah.
sales and stuff like that. So I'm curious, you know, what's your What's your average day like as someone who's just supporting themselves with their own work?
I mean, I have. Uh, I mean, I'm also an author and a writer. I also
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
write,
we didn't even talk about that.
but I write books, but mainly for the Danish audience because I'm also dyslexic. So writing in English is uh, uh, yeah. But
Are you talking about your art books or something else or
no,
different?
I was like full blown wordy novels.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. I had no idea. That's amazing. Because
yeah,
I have one of your art books.
yeah,
Because you have a lot of art books too. Or,
yeah. I mean, I came out first with the Post-it Monster book,
mm-hmm. I think
and
that's the one I have, maybe.
yeah, and Random House picked that up like right
Oh,
after the release. So it's yeah, yeah, but there's a long, insane story behind that because my Danish publisher fucked me. It's like you won't
oh
believe.
no, really?
Yeah, yeah. So
That sucks.
yeah, yeah, it really does. But I mean, in the end, I didn't get that much money, but a lot of people bought the book and read it, and that opened a huge amount of doors. And
Yeah.
yeah, I got to illustrate for Neil Gaiman, and
Wow.
he also wrote the the blurb on the back of Night Terror that came out last year on Fantagraphics.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, and yeah, but yeah, but I have a lot of art books, but they're like always have like a theme,
Right.
and because I want to tell stories, but just in like one picture. And
Yeah.
usually people are like, I really like this book, this art is amazing, but why is there any text on for the picture? And it's like, because make up your own fucking text. I mean, use your eyes, look at it, just come up
That's
with shit. That's the fun part.
exactly. That's the fun part is
Yeah,
is is your interpretation of it, the viewer's
yeah.
interpretation of it.
But when I mean, in every once in a while, I'll go to London. There's this amazing comic book store called Gosh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I'll do a signing there. And it's nice because there's a queue, and well, that it's also, I mean, frightening because it's weird to interact with people who really thinks you're amazing and you don't know shit about them.
Yeah, it is
It's
weird.
it's it's super weird. I mean, I feel comfortable doing this because we have this whole artist thing in common, and I
Mm-hmm.
really dig you and have done for years now. So, but meeting a person that is just going like, oh, I'm such a huge fan. I love your stuff. It's like, really, I'm sorry, I don't know what you do, but you seem nice.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
you're at a disadvantage because
Yeah,
they like know you, but you don't know them at all. You don't
yeah,
know anything about them, but they know you from your work or
yeah,
interviews they've read. So you're definitely kind of like at a weird disadvantage. But I don't know.
yeah.
You just got to kind of
But
get
then there'll always be like these introvert weirdos, and that's just my crowd, and I just love them also because they just
absolutely.
come and they just look down and they just push the book towards you and say, "I'm a big fan."
Yeah.
And they just look down, and I feel them, and we feel each other,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and sometimes
Absolutely.
they'll give me like a postcard with stuff written on it, and it's always people who've been struggling, and that just makes it just worth everything.
Absolutely.
They're never millionaires, these people. It's always
Unfortunately.
I really love them, and yeah, but yeah, I'm writing. I'm on my. I'm doing a trilogy now. I just finished the second book just came out, and I have to start the new one. But yeah, it's
Wow.
all horror.
Okay. So you write horror novels.
Yeah.
How many have you written so far? Like published?
I've published around uh, 6 or 7.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay, this is so weird
Fun.
though. This is so weird though because you talk about your artwork and you're like, I'm too lazy to come up with a story. I just want to make a scene. I don't want to do the rest of it. And then you're writing whole novels, which is is exactly
Yeah, but the great thing about novels is that you don't have like a ton of producers and like other people, and you don't have actors. I mean, I also wrote and directed a horror TV show for Danish television, for like young adults. And the problem with that is this actors, and you have an idea and you have the dialogue, and then you say action. They don't fucking do that, and they
right.
look wrong. It's just like, come on, it's in my head, please. And because I'm like super conflict shy and uh, weird, it's just I've found out that I don't have a director in me. It's
Right. Yeah.
I hate directing. I hate it.
Oh wow.
And then because I didn't think I could write a novel, but because I was at one point I was ghostwriting for Anders Morgenthaler, my mentor at the production company, and his editor said, "Why don't you write a book?" And I was like, "I can't write a book." I was like, "That's what you just did." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I see." I was like, "Yeah, this might be fun." And then I started writing, and it's like, "Oh, this is fucking cool because you can just come up with shit, and you can come up with. You don't need a budget or anything,
Yeah, right.
and then it's just fun
Yeah.
until you start editing and
Yeah,
everything."
yeah.
But yeah, so it's
That's amazing. I've always wanted to write. I've always since I was a kid because I was a big reader.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
big Stephen King fan and Clive
yeah,
Barker and all these horror,
yeah,
H.P. Lovecraft, all this stuff I read when I was a kid.
yeah,
And I always wanted to do it, and I never really just never really tried. Other than this one time, I wrote a short story when I was a
yeah.
teenager, and I thought it was pretty good. And then I just never did it again. And but the idea of it sounds great. I mean, I just now I don't really have time because I've I've got to
Mm,
hustle all the time. But with the
yeah,
art, with the paintings and stuff. But
yeah.
that's amazing. That's so cool. I had no idea you were such a successful writer. So do you
No, successful is.
relative?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's. I think if in, because it's genre fiction, and it's like this. It's a niche, and in Denmark we're 8 million people, so I have a hardcore fan base, but they're not many.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, things has changed, and now Fantagraphics has picked up 6 of my uh, comic books.
Hmm.
So that night, the Christmas Bestiarium just came out. It's like I did it with one of my friends. I didn't write this, but it's like a like a bestiary. Is that
Hmm.
what you call it? Like but with Christmas beasts
Oh,
from
cool.
real folklore.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
sounds really
So
fun.
and yeah, so I'm kind of hoping to get into the US market more. I mean, I've been there with Post-it Monster, but now yeah, with Fantagraphic. I mean, and I've been a huge fan of Fantagraphics
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. Same
Yeah,
here.
but yeah, so to get back to how my day is. Sorry, we just trailed off there, but yeah, I'm super unstructured. I'm just yeah
I'm the same way, man. It's so
I
hard.
just get up and I use like, I mean, I need minimum an hour with coffee and
You sound so far we sound exactly alike.
taking my daily dump and just taking out the internet, and then just like, okay, here we go. And I don't have a. I mean, my kids, they're twins and they're 13 now, so they get up by themselves
Mm-hmm.
and they can take care of shit. So I don't need to do anything in the morning for
Mm-hmm.
them, and so I don't have an alarm clock, which is just awesome. That's just I just love just getting up. And I mean, I had an alarm clock for like 25 years,
Yeah.
and I've hated it.
Oh, that's
I've
terrible.
hated it. The worst part of my life, or that's an over exaggeration, but
Yes.
the worst part of my day was when this fucking alarm just nip, 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 and got me out of this. Fuck off, man. So I just really, really love. I mean, the the situation about being without a safety net and never knowing how your economy is way worth it, I think,
Mm-hmm.
compared to, in that sense, I think I've made it that I can make a life where I have food for me and my
Yeah.
kids and everything, and I do what I love, and I can get up when I want.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I get up and then I do that, and then uh, sometimes when I'm sometimes I'll just stress around going like, because I mean I work sometimes from home, and I also have an office space where I go to.
Oh, nice.
It's just like I think I've got today. No, well, no, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this. No, wait a minute. No, I'm gonna, and then 3 hours has gone by, and oh, you just drew a post-it note. Okay, then that's so. But every once in a while, I have deadlines and stuff. At the moment, I have a show in March. Uh, so I'm working on that now, and it's amazing. I haven't had a show for ages, and I just love being able to just sit and just fucking draw.
I know, it's great.
And it feels, I've always feel like I'm cheating. Like, oh, you should do like that grown up thing. You need, what is it you need to do? And it's like, no, this is actually what you need to do.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, that's fucking amazing.
When you do a solo show, do you have a theme, or do you just kind of create a bunch of work and see what?
I love coming up with a theme.
Me too. Yeah.
I really, really fucking love that. But I haven't had a show for 6 years, I
Oh,
think,
wow.
because uh, the gallery scene in Denmark is also tiny,
Mm-hmm.
um, and there's only a small room for the dark art and lowbrow art, and my gallery closed because it just didn't he couldn't survive,
Yeah.
and then I had to like step up and just go 100% into the gallery business and doing shows. But in Denmark, it's just, especially when with drawing and dark art, because you can only have like one show a year at the most, and if you have a gallery, then they will only have you like every second year or something like
Mm.
that,
Why
and
is
then you can
that?
do a few.
Just because you can't sell enough?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because it's so small in Denmark. So um and I also wanted to write, so I didn't want to go 100% and going down that path.
Mm-hmm.
So I sorry. So yeah, and then the internet was kind of like, also because they take 50% the gallerists,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to do all the framing and everything on that's from your end. So found out when I sold things online, because my international following was bigger than in Copenhagen. I mean, doing a show in Copenhagen and then selling out, I would make like 3 times as much just selling it online.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it would be around for longer. I mean, because a gallery show is like for a month, and they have opened, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and that's kind of
Right.
it. So yeah, so I got away from doing that,
Have
but I
you?
always have a theme. I love
Okay.
to know
Yeah.
themes.
Have you shown in the U.S. A solo show?
No,
Oh wow, that would be cool.
yeah, that would be amazing. I would love that.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll talk to
no,
I'll talk to Gary at Copro. I bet he would like to have you there.
yeah, I mean, I would love to have. Um, I've been in a few group shows a few times in the States and in France
Hmm.
and stuff like that, but never a solo.
Hmm. And
Um,
your stuff's generally pretty small. Your pieces are pretty small.
yeah, I mean, I have yeah, but I mean, I have bigger ones that are like we have centimeters.
Right.
Uh,
I could never figure
so
out.
no, yeah, it's but I'll show you
Okay. Okay.
um, one of my bigger ones. I mean,
Oh
like
wow,
this.
that's pretty big.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's such a great piece, man.
thank you. Yeah,
I love that. That's oh man.
spiders.
Yeah, that that's an amazing piece. But the fact that your stuff is that's a big piece for you, and you probably have a lot smaller ones. Shipping to
Yeah,
the US for a solo show would probably be not too expensive if you kept things smaller.
yeah, especially and also if I did the framing in the States,
Yeah,
it
right.
would
Have the
be
gallery do the framing.
yeah,
That would be
yeah. I
yeah.
did. I was. That was amazing. I got to go to the Necronomicon, which is a
The
like a horror con in
oh okay.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh okay.
Um,
Hmm.
it's a Lovecraftian, a Lovecraft con that's called the Necronomicon.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was really really great, and uh, yeah, so I got to be a part of a group show there with also Skinner. Uh,
Oh, Skinner?
yeah,
Yeah,
I got to meet him.
he's awesome. He's been on the
Yeah,
he's been on the podcast twice, I think.
he's super friendly,
Oh
and
yeah, great person. He's such a good dude.
yeah, and I met also met Richard Stanley.
Well, you froze there a second.
Yeah, that was
What you
an
met who?
amazing meeting. Oh, sorry, Richard Stanley, who
Oh,
did
the director?
uh, uh, yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was the year before Color Out of Space came out.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, he that documentary about him making
yeah,
uh
Island of Dr.
yeah,
Moreau. Yeah,
that's a
that's
crazy documentary. I
insane.
love that documentary.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but I went there, and I had an amazing time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, have you ever been to LA?
No,
Oh, you got to come to LA.
I would love to come to LA.
Uh,
Um,
You would love Monster Palooza, that convention, and
yeah,
it's a really big convention out here.
yeah,
There's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool galleries in LA and stuff too.
yeah.
Just got to find a reason to come out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm afraid of the tarantulas and the heat, but
Yeah, the heat. No, I've never seen a tarantula in my life,
okay.
and but it can be hot. So you gotta come during like the fall or winter, and then the weather's nice.
Yeah,
But don't
I'm,
come.
I'm actually more I mean, no, the thing I'm most afraid of about going to the state is actually the airport security. They
Uh,
always get shit out of me.
yeah, I hate that, man. That's why that's part of the reason I never fly anymore. It's just like I hate
Yeah,
standing in those lines
yeah,
and forever, and I just don't like any of it. I don't like any of it.
No,
And then the seats are
I'm not.
uncomfortable, and
Yeah, I hate flying. I hate it,
I do
and not
too.
because of it's not like a fear. It's just
Same.
the airport and the air in the plane is just fucking horrible, and I feel like I'm breathing other people's
Farts.
mouth and farts. It's just I fucking hate it. Ew.
Me too, man. Yeah, I'm not afraid at all, but I
No.
hate it. Like I hate it more than being afraid. It's like
Yeah.
because it's so especially long flights, they're so uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
it's like especially the fatter I get, the more uncomfortable it is. It's and I just hate taking my shoes off and waiting in line. I
Yeah.
just am not into it, man.
No.
Every once in a while, you hear about people that like celebrities and musicians that will only like take the train or take ships.
Yeah.
I just heard about this. I was reading about this rapper KRS-One who's like he only travels on boats. Like he doesn't fly. If he has to go somewhere, he'll travel on a ship. I
Oh,
was like, man, that sounds good.
yeah.
I'd rather take longer. Like I'd rather do a long drive, a road trip to go somewhere in the United States than take like a short flight. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the
No.
ass.
I hate it. But you should come to Denmark though.
I know. I want to. It sounds
Yeah.
amazing. It sounds amazing. My
Yeah.
my wife is always like, okay, if we know people because I know that other guy David in
Yeah.
Denmark. She's like, okay, maybe we go to Denmark if Trump gets elected again, or if things get like totally crazy here and it gets all fascist.
Yeah.
So you're our escape route, Denmark.
Yeah, man, you should come. I mean,
I want to come. I do want to
um,
come.
that'd be amazing. Tool is headlining Copenhagen this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And they have now I'm really gonna sell you the idea. I'm gonna work on this now. You're gonna come to Denmark this summer, and because Copenhagen, that's the music festival I did the promotion
Mm-hmm.
animation for, and they have a Comic Con at Copenhagen.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
yeah,
Wow,
you should totally be a guest there.
that would be cool. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it would be fucking amazing. It's
That would be kind of
uh,
fun.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it's in the summer. It's
Yeah.
nice, no snow in the summer, but it's like 25 degrees. But there's Celsius.
Celsius, yeah. What is
Yeah,
25
we have
degrees Celsius?
centimeters in Celsius.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sorry.
It's the smarter way to be. I wish that America would adopt that because inches and feet is bullshit. It's so hard. It's so much easier. The metric system is so much easier to
Yeah,
figure things out. It's really dumb the way we do it here. Um, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to visit there. I definitely would. It sounds amazing to me. Everything I've heard about it sounds super cool.
yeah,
Yeah, especially things getting crazy here. You start thinking about other places you could. I would hate to have to leave my home, but man,
yeah,
things are crazy in the United States these days. Let me tell you, or they seem like
yeah,
it. They're getting there, but I don't know. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So much to think about. I think it's so cool that you write horror novels. What are your horror novels about? I mean, what are some of the story? What is there like a theme with all of them, or are they all
No,
like kind of different?
I mean, they mostly take place in my home on small dinky island.
Uh-huh.
But the first one is called, I guess the direct translation is Uneducated Misfits.
Hmm.
It's about.
I like it.
It's sorry. It's
Okay.
about overnight, the whole adult population of the island gets turned to vampires.
Oh,
But
cool.
traditional old school vampires, so they're not like these weird zombies, and it's just like everything from the old school
Mm-hmm.
tradition. They have to be invited in, and they don't like crosses,
I
and they
love
don't
it.
like sunlight and fire and everything. And so it's like these. Uh, uh, it's so the kids and youngsters need to survive this, and of course they're gathering up and sticking together, but then there's all these misfits that are dragging the others down, so they get thrown out. So we're kind of following them.
Oh wow, that sounds
In this.
really great. That sounds really cool. Yeah, your stuff isn't translated into English. You can't
No, not any of the
the novels.
novels.
I would
No,
love to.
my comic book called The Hammer is gonna come out at Fantagraphics
Right.
next year. I
Okay.
think
Cool.
it's the Faust
Hmm.
Faust story, but with a wrestler. Uh,
So I take it
yeah,
there's a sense of humor in your novels and comics,
yeah,
like with
yeah,
your artwork, which is another
yeah,
thing that uh, I didn't even really think about it until just now. But there is a sense of humor in all of your artwork.
yeah,
It's like they're creepy, but there's definitely a fun. They're fun too in a way. I don't know if
yeah.
you know, because there's like uh, you know, there's kind of an Edward Gorey vibe a little bit, but Edward Gorey's got like definitely not as funny as yours. Yours is a little more
Yeah.
fun, I guess is the word. I don't know if I'm describing it well, but
But I mean, he kind of what you call broke me in a good way. I mean, when I was introduced to Edward Gorey while I was at the animation school.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it was an American friend. He was teaching there. He lives here in Denmark now, but he showed me, oh, just check out Edward Gorey. You will love him. And when I saw it, it's like, what? Can you do that?
I know, right?
What? Okay, I can. What? This is amazing. And
Yeah,
then, so he's been like a huge inspiration for me,
it was
like
so
humongous.
amazing.
Also because there's no color in a lot of his stuff, and it's just like flat perspective and everything. And so, I mean, the Ghastly Crumb Tinies. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hor- horrible and just like 20
Yeah, dark.
12 kids just dying, or 28. I
Yeah,
don't know how many letters in the alphabet. We
yeah.
have a few more letters than in the States.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I think it's 26. I think the
Yeah.
alphabet has English has 26, I think.
Okay.
But I discovered Edward Gorey when I was a kid because my mom used to take me to the bookstore back when there was bookstores, and and that's where I would find all these really cool like Edward Gorey, and I would get any kind of cool illustrated horror books or monster books, but Edward Gorey just like stood out to me when I was a kid. It just seemed I had kind of that same realization, like, wow, it's like something was made for me. This
Mm,
is like specially made for someone like me because I was
yeah.
aware, even as a kid, that was an unusual thing, and it just seems
Yeah.
so like, where did this guy come from? It's just so it was so different than anything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember I also got at that time period when I was a little kid the Adams Family, Chaz Adams, the
Mm?
original. Have you seen those original
Yeah.
illustrations? They're so cool.
Love it. I
Yeah,
fucking
I still
love it.
have it. I still have that book back here somewhere in my bookshelf. The original one that I got in the early '70s, and I
Yeah.
just I thought they were so funny and
Yeah, and
so
so fucking
clever.
violent and
Yeah,
hateful
morbid.
but in such a charming way.
Yeah, yeah, really dark and really funny, and the illustrations
Yeah.
were the illustrations style was
Yeah.
amazing. He was so
Yeah.
good. So those to me, those two, Edward Gorey and Chaz Adams, were like kind of like
Mm.
you know, similar to me, like they were related
Yeah.
for me. I discovered them at the
Yeah.
same time, and
Yeah.
very inspiring, very inspiring. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, as far as your this is the other thing I love about your work is the type of monsters that you draw are so cool. They're just I love, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's certain types of monsters that you can create. And I'm
Yeah.
not always down with every type of monster because you know when you're like a monster nerd, you have your
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
You know, you have certain things you're like, even though
Yeah.
they're a monster. You just don't love every monster just because you're into monsters. It's like you get picky.
Exactly. Yeah.
And all of the
Yeah.
creatures and stuff that you draw are just like, these are my type of monsters, all of
Yeah.
them. And the
Like a monster
spiders.
snob.
Yeah, monster snob. We're monster snobs.
Yeah.
We've earned that right.
Yeah.
Um, but I love the I don't know, you have a certain type. You're always creating these certain types of monsters and creatures that I just totally think are awesome. I just love them.
Thanks, man.
Just love them. I could just
Thank you.
look at your stuff all day. You know, it's like there's so, and you're super prolific too. And you don't have any, from what I've seen online, you don't have any filler. You don't have any clinkers. You don't have any that are like, eh. It's like, it's almost like
Oh,
if they're, it almost seems like if the idea is not good enough, you just don't draw it. Like you save the drawings for all of your best ideas, maybe. I mean, that's how it is with art in
yeah.
general, I guess, but they always are very strong conceptually, I
Yeah.
feel.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I see them, when I look at some of it, I go like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have put this one up.
Really?
But I mean, it's also the nice thing with uh, drawing, and also when you're drawing like small, like I am, it's that. I mean, it doesn't matter if you throw it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, because if you need to throw a painting out, it's like fuck.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine how much.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, how much you try to just make it work. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna try and make
that's
this work.
yeah, this is why I always do studies and make
Mm,
sure it's worked out before I go to the big one because it's like all the
yeah, okay, yeah,
preparation, even though you can buy stuff pre-made, you still sometimes have to like, at least for the
yeah,
big pieces, I'll gesso it myself and sand it and stuff just to get the right
yeah,
texture. And so I like to make sure, especially nowadays, um, I like to make sure I know what the painting's going to look like before I do it.
yeah,
So I'll spend all my creative time on the sketch and on a small study, that a real, just figure like, something like,
yeah. Okay, cool,
just a
man.
little
Yeah,
tiny, figure out the
yeah,
colors. And so there's more prep work than I used to do. Cause that's
yeah,
the thing. I used to, especially early on, I would paint something and I couldn't get it to work. And then it's like, oh man, now I got, if I want to reuse this canvas, I'm going to have to paint the whole thing white again. And,
yeah.
it's like, or throw it out. And it's like,
Yeah,
but
yeah, cool. This this like one thing I really really love about your paintings is like there's almost a sound to it.
oh yeah.
It's like a drone. I really really love that.
Oh, that's cool. I
Like,
never heard. That's
wow.
the first time I've ever heard that one before. That's
Really?
interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get the
Definitely.
feeling of this droning, doomy sound.
Yeah. No, I've done I actually have done, because I was into 3D animation a long time
Ah,
ago in the 98. Or 2000, early 2000s, late 90s, I started getting
mm,
into computer animation and I did stuff for Tool for their projections.
mhm,
And I held on to the rights for a certain amount of them once I did on my own. And I put a DVD out in 2004 of these animations and I did all the audio too. and
Uh,
most of them have some weird droning sound on them. They're not my paintings, but they are like 3D animated versions of what I do with paintings, kind
yeah,
of.
I remember it
Oh, really?
from back then. Yeah, yeah. I think uh, I, th- I think I saw it in no, I can't because they played. I mean, Tool played in Denmark in the 1990s where they got gassed by the cops. They played
Really?
with Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, but that was in '95, I think.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was still if they get the question about what their most memorable show ever was, they usually say it's that one.
Really? They
But
got gassed.
yeah, yeah. But it was in they played in Christiania,
Hmm.
which is like a small free state in Denmark, where hash is not legal, but there's an open hash market there, and it was like an old military base that got taken over by hippies in the early 70s, and
Uh-huh.
then the state kind of gave it to them.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah,
That's a trip.
uh, but it's like it's kind of it's not gonna last forever now, but it lasted for a long time. But yeah, they played there with fucking Rage Against the Machine. I think it was in '95, and
Wow.
yeah, the show got raided by the cops, and they just gassed the shit out of everyone. Insane. But I think I saw it with visuals. I think it was in Berlin, maybe or something. Yeah, probably in the late '90s.
Yeah, I think it was 98 is when they first used this one, like I did a 1 minute animation, looping
Yeah,
animation of like it's a weird scene. It's based on an acid or a mushroom trip I had, or an acid trip. It was a vision I had in my head in the late 80s. And once I learned animation, I was like, oh, I could make this into an animation because I remembered it because it was so strong. And that was the first animation I did. And they started with that one, and then kind of hired me to do a few others after that, over
mm.
shortly after that. Um, I wanted to ask you also, what were your favorite metal bands growing up, punk bands, and your favorite horror movies?
Oh, I love these questions.
Well, from one horror nerd to another.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I got into metal because of the visuals.
Hmm.
Uh, I was just, drawn to it. Came into a shop, saw, I think it was "Peace of Mind" by Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
And I
They
was
had the
like,
best covers. Those covers were
yeah.
amazing.
And then yeah, I think before that there was uh, Guns N' Roses,
Hmm.
Appetite for Destruction.
Hmm.
I saw the cover. I was like, wow, there's skulls on this. And then I opened it,
Yeah, Robert
and then
Williams.
it's just like, that was
Yeah.
insane.
Yes.
But yeah, so I kind of started out on Iron Maiden and Accept,
Oh, yeah, I
the
remember
German
Accept.
band. Yeah,
Balls to the
because
wall, wasn't that Accept?
yeah,
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 I remember
exactly.
that.
And I was really into that and metal. But then, uh, yeah, then when grunge came around, it was like these guys listen to punk, and I was like, what kind of punk? Like, and
Mhm.
then I found Dead Kennedys, and
Me too. That was one of my favorites.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So but I mean, Misfits is by far my favorite punk band
Oh, really?
of all time, and
I
also one of
missed the
the best bands.
Misfits. Like that was one that I had friends who were into the Misfits.
Yeah,
I remember I painted someone's leather jacket with the Sam Hain logo from the
yeah,
other band they had, Sam Hain. That
yeah,
In Idiom, I think, is the album where they're all like
yeah.
covered with blood. That's such a great album cover. But I did that logo on a shirt, and it's like I was always aware of them, but for some reason, some bands you just miss them.
Mm, yeah.
I just never really listened to them. So I feel like I really missed out because I look now, I watch these YouTube videos about the history of punk or whatever,
Yeah,
or about mini documentaries on the Misfits, and I'm like, man, that would have been the perfect band for me. I don't know how I missed that. It was
yeah,
crazy, like the horror imagery and the music. It's like that was
yeah. And also there's this weird. I'm a huge Roy Orbison fan. I have
oh cool.
an amazing tattoo
That's
on.
wow. Who did
Yeah,
that?
I can't remember it. Alex something. He's a British
It's a
dude.
it's a great tattoo.
Yeah, thank you. But and Glenn Danzig and Roy Orbison, or Glenn Danzig wrote a song for Roy Orbison for
Oh wow.
the Life Fades Away for um, uh, the Robert Downey Jr.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Less than the Bret Easton Ellis book it's based on, but that's actually Glenn Danzig that wrote a song for Roy Orbison, which
Wow.
is
That's a
really cool.
trip. That's
Yeah,
cool.
but yeah, this weird Hollywood sadcore is kind of like really nice, and
The what?
Hollywood sadcore.
I've never.
And I think it's one of my friends that probably made up the word because he said like, yeah, Roy Orbison, he's the king of Hollywood sadcore. I mean, like this dreamy movie-ish kind of
Okay.
vibe, like In Dreams has this
Yeah.
vibe of sadness
Yeah.
and
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hollywood and
That's true.
that
I
kind of
see that.
thing.
I see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, because growing up in the 80s and I mean 90s was, I mean, I'm from 78,
Okay.
so yeah,
So
my
I'm like 11 years older than you.
yeah, so my years of uh, uh, turning into a real person was in the 90s, and uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so started out in the 80s, in the late 80s with Iron Maiden and Accept and the old kind of metal, and then got really much into Sepultura, which is still one of my favorite
Mm,
bands. The old Sepultura, I just love it, and
yeah. They're great.
Slayer, and
The
yeah, but then
classics.
yeah, and then yeah, then I got into to this more darker in the middle 90s. Was really into uh, was industrial. Uh, yeah, then it needed to be like the doomier and darker, and that was really really nice. Yeah, and now it's I'm listening to the Conan. Do you know that band?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you
Conan?
need to check them out. Conan, like the barbarian.
Really? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Where are they from?
I think they're the mix of. I think the founder and the frontman is British, but I think he lives in the States, and
Hmm.
the rest is from the States. But it's really really great. And on the new album, they have like a long instrumental track called "Grief Sequence," and it's just insanely amazing.
Hmm.
I was. I was listening to it for the first time when it just came out, and I was I was illustrating the Danish version of Thomas Ligotti. Do you know that author?
Mm-mm. No.
Sorry, you
No problem.
have to check him out.
Okay.
Thomas Ligotti. He is insanely amazing. He's also been called the best kept secret in horror literature.
I know the name. I've heard the name
Yeah, it
before.
was when True Detective came out, the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was when I first learned about Thomas Ligotti, because a lot of the Thomas Ligotti fans were like, "Dude, you just ripped off Thomas Ligotti."
Oh, really?
It's because all
Okay, I'm gonna look him up.
the monologues that the McConaughey character has in the car
Mm-hmm.
is been lifted out of a book called "The Conspiracy Against the Human Race"
Wow,
by
really?
Thomas Ligotti. Yeah, but he's amazing, and he did a book called Teatro Grotesco with novel or short stories, and
Oh, cool.
but so was illustrating the Danish version
Oh, how cool! So you got to.
of that book. Yeah,
That must have been great.
that was amazing. I mean, it was also like a non-paying gig because it was because the publisher is so small that they don't have
Right.
money and they don't make money. It's all like fan based
Yeah.
and all that shit. So yeah, but I was listening to Grief Sequence, and then it's just I just hit that note like. And we were always chasing the dragon, and I just caught the tail of that fucking dragon and rode it for like just a few minutes, and it was fucking amazing.
Wow.
And without any drugs or anything, just music and drawing, and it was
Yeah,
just
that's
fucking
incredible
amazing.
when that happens.
Yeah,
It's like a magic. It's a magical thing when that happens.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, but yeah, so punk. My favorite punk band of all time is the Misfits, and yeah, but that and that, but I have, but also because Dead Kennedys has the rebellious streak to it that I like
Hmm.
and I will love, and I need that. So they're also my favorite, but I also need the horror and the sadness and the darkness, and
Yeah.
that's Misfits.
How about
And then
what about the horror films? What are your big
oh,
horror films?
uh,
You're all like,
yeah, I mean, of course, there's all these, you know, favorites. I mean, The Thing is by far my favorite movie of
oh
all
yeah,
time.
The Thing. That's
Yeah,
classic.
yeah.
I saw that in the theater.
Really?
When it
Oh
first came out, because
man.
I was like, what? It came out in 82 or 81, so I was
Yeah,
like 13 or 14 or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was not cinema ready by that time.
My stepdad used to take me to the horror movies every Friday. We'd go
Oh,
see like
cool.
a horror movie or a sci-fi movie, and
Yeah.
so he'd take me to see. He didn't care if I saw R-rated movies, so I get to see all the
Oh,
cool. And it bombed,
nice.
man. I remember when it came out, it bombed. The Thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it has nothing for what audience. There's no
I know,
romantic
but
interest or anything. It's just
it's a classic now, though. It's like
yeah,
everyone regards it as a great film now. You
it
know,
is
I
fucking
remember thinking
amazing.
it was amazing, and I couldn't understand why it bombed. It was because E.T. came out. E.T. came out
Yeah,
around the same time, I think, and it was trying to compete with E.T. And it was like
I
nobody wants to,
like ET,
huh?
but I like ET,
Right?
but I love the thing.
Yeah, E.T. is great, but come on, you can't even compare the two.
Yeah, but I mean, but yeah, I recently saw a movie that I first saw with like in the early '90s, where I was smoking a lot of weed,
Hmm.
and it's like an art house horror movie. So I've been afraid of rewatching it because when I saw it the first time, it was just like this is the most amazing movie I have ever seen, and I just wanted to keep that. But then it came out up in the we have like this small cinema that will take like requests,
Hmm.
and then it came up and was shown for 2 days or two screenings per session,
Oh,
which
that's
is new.
yeah. That movie's insane.
That is fucking insane, and I was so afraid of rewatching it,
It
but
definitely.
it was just amazing. I love it.
I saw it for the first time when we were screening my documentary. This guy made a
Yeah.
documentary about me, and we were doing film festival circuit, and we got in
Uh,
this one film festival that had
mm,
phenomenon in it, and someone was like, this one critic we became friends with was like, you got to see this movie, you got to see it, it's insane. And we saw it, and we were just like, what the fuck? It's such a crazy film. Oh my god, it's yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely a real piece of art. You know,
yeah.
not one that you watch a lot, but one that you
No,
watch every once in a while because
yeah.
it's
You need to
intense and
see it.
insane and
Yeah,
kind of confusing. But
yeah. It's like 100 days in Sodom, you need to be in the mood to
Right.
watch it. You can't just watch it
I still have
all the
never
time. Or
seen that
Pink
one.
Flamingos.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all.
Pink Flamingos. Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
not a horror movie, but it's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's
And
amazing. I love
the
John Waters. He's amazing.
he is one of my fucking heroes. I
Yeah.
love that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And yeah, and it's a good date movie
Pink
actually.
Flamingos?
Yeah. I mean, just stay away from people that don't like pink flamingos.
Yeah, it's definitely only for you have to appreciate
Filth.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just so obnoxious and so it's just so weird and yeah, also because I don't know, it's just like it's a Tourette's movie. It's just so offensive. It's insane.
Yeah, it doesn't like now it needs to have the context for when it came out.
Yeah,
You know, because now
yeah.
people do stuff. It's like you couldn't make a movie like that now because now they
No.
do it and they try and do stuff like that. Kind of maybe some. I haven't seen them, but you know, there's been a few like movies where they just try and be total gross out
Yeah,
and weird. But it's
yeah.
like you can never make a movie like Pink Flamingos now because
No.
at the time it was insane. It was like there was nothing like it. There was nothing like it anywhere. And
No.
you know, imagine making that movie back then.
Oh, I mean, it's just insane getting that crowd together and just doing that. And oh my God, but and again, with the freaks and the outsiders and the geeks, and John Waters is just like the spokesman for
Yeah.
just the king of outsiders, and he just room for everyone in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I was like
He's
a teenager and we started renting movies, it was like Pink Flamingos and Eraserhead, you know, all the weird David Lynch
yeah,
movies, Blue Velvet.
yeah.
You know, that was like for the arty weirdo crowd, you know.
Mm. Yeah, I really, really, really also love Lynch's movies.
Yeah, me too.
But also, I mean, another movie that's like been like insanely overlooked, like a just flat out completely horror movie, not art house, but The Ravenous with Guy Pearce.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, you need to see that
Really?
one. It is fucking amazing. There's
Okay.
another movie called Ravenous that's on Netflix. It's not that one, but it's with
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce and I can't remember the name of the director. It's yeah.
Guy
She did.
Pearce. I
Yeah,
mean, if I have Guy Pearce, I'll be able to find it.
yeah. Ravenous. It's insanely amazing. It's a
Really?
cannibal movie. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's set in like it's this soldier
Yeah.
that's been. Yeah, it's ringing a bell
I
now.
did see it. Maybe I did see it. Yeah, because I get it confused with Bone Tomahawk, which is like a
It's
similar kind
Yeah,
of
it's
movie.
very similar vibe to
Yeah,
Bone
yeah, but
Tomahawk.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
my wife told me to watch Ravenous because she said it was really good, and it's like,
yeah. It's
yeah,
amazing,
I'll
and the
have to watch it again.
soundtrack
I
is
haven't seen it in a long since it first came out.
yeah. The soundtrack is amazing. It's Damon Albarn from Blur and
Oh
Michael
wow.
Newman,
Oh
and
cool.
it's just the fucking most amazing soundtrack ever. No,
Cool.
I mean, the Thing soundtrack is the best,
Yeah.
but second best. Yeah,
Cool.
and the Possession soundtrack is also really amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
that's
those are
some of my
okay.
top 10 horror movies.
That's
But I
cool.
could go on and on and on.
It sounds like you know, for you know, normal people, it might be like, oh, those are weird movies. But to me, these are all like part of the pantheon of movies I grew up
Yeah,
with, and
yeah,
it's the bands. It's like,
yeah,
again, it makes sense why I resonate with your work so much, because it sounds like we were sort of, and isn't that weird that we are, so far apart, but we had
yeah,
these, it's like we all have these similar interests. It's such a trip.
yeah,
It makes me
yeah,
think
and
it's like some genetic mutation or something, a
yeah,
specific genetic mutation or something.
yeah. But it is so weird. Also because I mean, when I grew up, there was no one like you around.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
we grew up so far from each other, but have so many common interests
Yeah.
and similarities, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? I was just grew up with these idiots, and I mean, I also had a lot of good friends, but they were like into football, soccer,
Yeah, I
and
know.
all that kind of shit, and liked weird music, like you
Yeah.
know,
I used to
uh,
try. I used to try. I mean, I used to try like to play football and stuff and watch football games and on
yeah,
TV to try and like everybody I know is into this. I have to try it at least. And it seems so boring to me.
yeah, it's
It
super
just seemed
boring.
boring. It's like
Yeah, weird.
whenever I saw something I liked, like a cool movie or something, I would
Yeah,
be like, I want to go do that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like immediately, if I liked something, I wanted to go do it myself, like make a
yeah,
movie, because I used to make little movies and stuff. And
yeah.
but when I watched sports and stuff on TV, I never felt like, oh, I want to go do that. It just never.
Mm,
But that is also pretty common,
yeah,
pretty common with the artists. And although
yeah,
I do know some athletic artists, which is like cool.
yeah.
You're lucky.
There's a few of them around. Yeah, I did at the boarding school I went to. We started doing like horror movies, but the friends that I did them with, I mean, they were from Copenhagen, so they had like they've been exposed to uh, cool stuff, and I
Hmm.
haven't because I was from this small dinky island. So we already had the cameraman and the special effects guy and everything. So I was just like it was just like a piece of meat, like the actor. So we did like these horror movies, and I was like in with the latex on my face, and I was just starting to grow a beard. I was like 16, and it was just rip off every time I had to take this fucking mask off, and I was buried alive for like we just didn't know what the fuck we were
Oh
doing.
my God.
So, and I need to come out of the ground as a zombie, but the dirt was so fucking heavy.
That's so dangerous, man.
Yeah, I was so. I mean, I literally thought I was gonna die, and I probably also was almost dying.
Oh
And when I
my.
came up, like when I finally came up, there was like, dude, you came up too early. You had to wait 2 minutes. Just like, what the fuck? There's like a ton of dirt on me. I was just trying to stay alive,
Oh
and
my
it
God.
was like, it didn't look cool at all. We have to do it over. And it's like, no, no, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again.
Were you shooting it on video?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's so
yeah.
funny. Wow.
Yeah,
I
we had so many fucking great things to shoot on. We also shoot on 16 millimeter,
Oh wow.
um, a bunch of shots, but that was more like experimental shit. Like
Hmm.
because it also looked cool in slow motion and stuff like that. Because so yeah, it just works, and yeah, it's fun, really
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, I used to make Super 8 movies in the
Yeah,
late 70s.
yeah,
Yeah, it was really cool. I did
yeah,
that, I had a thing. I did a thing where I almost died. I almost died many times actually, just doing crazy shit, cuz
yeah.
as much as I was super shy when I was a kid, but I was kind of like a daredevil as far as physical stuff. Like I would climb up on my roof and jump off. I would do crazy shit, make myself flip
Mhm.
over my handlebars on my bike on purpose on the grass.
Stupid.
It's totally
Don't do
stupid
that.
shit. I could have gotten. Oh my God! But I did. I remember when I was pretty young. I would hear stories about Alice Cooper. You know Alice Cooper. Um,
Mhm.
and he used to have these crazy stage shows where he would like hang himself. He would
Yeah.
be hung on a noose, and I remember making a noose. I
Oh
was
my God.
probably
Oh.
6 or 7, and like thinking, oh, if I just put it right here in my
Yeah,
backyard
I
alone,
get the thinking. I get it. Yeah.
alone, and I remember doing it just like because I was just always making things and doing things, and like having a moment where I like kind of was sort of hanging there by like my chin and thinking like and realizing, oh, this is not good. You know, if
Oh
I
my
if I
God.
slipped or if this
Yeah.
slipped, I would be dead. And it was like I kind of did that stuff a lot. Like I really felt like I had some kind of guardian angel hanging over me because I did a lot of crazy shit like that, and I always came out of it alive. It's kind of terrifying now.
Well, that's good. Uh,
I know.
I'm happy.
So wow. Well, I mean, I don't want to. I think I've kept you over our allotted time, but man, I
Yeah, but this
really,
is super fun, man. I'm having a great time.
yeah. I had such a. I really appreciate you taking the time. It's so great to meet you, and it's so cool that I resonated. You know, automatically. Like I said, since I first saw it, I just resonated with your work so much. I just felt like I don't know. I felt like completely 100% understand the work, and I feel it. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I totally just
Oh,
connect with it, and then it's so cool to meet you and then be like connect with you in the same way. It's like, I don't know. I
cool.
feel,
I mean, that makes me so fucking happy. I mean, this is uh, yeah, this is making it, I think. Yeah, having people you look up to, at, admire your work and stuff. That's really, really fucking cool. And yeah, and it's also just, I mean, that's yeah, I think I'm just trying to, yeah, express myself, having so much weird shit going on inside you, and then when people go like, "Oh, I see what you're doing,"
yeah.
it's just amazing. Then you feel less weird and less
Yeah,
fucked
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, because when
yeah,
you're making that kind of work, it's like it feels right to you, but
yeah,
but you don't know if it's gonna feel right to anybody else.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
But
I recently got a handwritten letter from a guy in prison
wow.
in the States. He bought Night Terror.
Hmm.
It's apparently in like a catalog that inmates get to,
Wow.
so they can choose what to buy.
Whoa.
And he didn't know anything about me. He just saw this little thumbnail and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna use my money on that shit." It was really, really touching and moving. Him writing and telling me how much this book is meant to him.
Yeah.
Also taking the time to write a handwritten letter and sending it and everything. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I got a bit nervous because he was in prison. I mean, if it was like a serial killer, a kitty fiddler, rapist, psycho, it's like, man, we're the same. Your work really resonates with me. But um,
Yeah.
no, he was just caught selling a lot of drugs, so
Yeah, that's
that seemed kind of okay. I mean, you can
yeah.
change from that. You can that's like a
Drug
life
laws.
path that you can change. I mean,
Yeah,
being like,
drug laws are fucked up in this country for sure too.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. So
You really can't go from anywhere when you have killed a lot of kids and
yeah,
people.
there's no
It's like
turning back.
you can really go back and go like, yeah, I'm different now. I changed, man.
Yeah. Wow.
So that
Yeah.
was really cool.
That is
That's
cool.
also and also, I mean, uh, I really also like when the outsiders and the outcasts. uh, get something from my art.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I felt I felt like that when I was a kid. It helped me, especially
Mm,
music and
yeah.
artwork. Really helped me kind of not feel it so weird and alone. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably one of the one of the big functions of dark art in the world. Really is for those people.
Yeah.
It's like I think on one hand it can be like as we become more accepted, it could be like if you're a truly well-rounded person, there's something there for you, even if you're like kind of not an
Yeah.
outsider. It's still there's something there for you because everyone has fear in them and a dark
Mhm.
side and
Yeah.
fear of death. So it's kind of like a good thing for people that aren't outsiders if they can open their minds enough to appreciate. But it's really
Yeah.
I think mostly for people like us to not to relate to, so we don't we're reaching out to other people like ourselves, being
Mm.
like, you don't have to feel so alone.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
huge, that's a
Yeah.
huge thing to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's almost like a service, but it's sort of like as people with this painful thing in common for us to like
Yeah.
heal each other or make ourselves feel better and more comfortable in the world,
Yeah.
which is a really good thing,
Yeah. It's kind of like a like a message in a bottle.
Yeah,
Just like
definitely.
throwing something out that's like, please, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being in like a dark wood, that's actually be a nightmare. Like being in a totally dark place and just going, Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Just never do that. That would actually be scary. But yeah.
That's
So wait
perfect.
a minute. What I also need to hear your favorite. I show you mine and you show me yours.
Oh,
So
okay.
what's your favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movies are, I think, Night of the Living Dead might be my
Mm,
all-time original black and white, because
yeah.
I saw that when I was a little kid, way too young. I used to watch it every time it came on TV. Um, uh, and then I got
Mm,
really into zombie movies. So I was like Dawn of the
mm,
Dead, the original, the 70
yeah.
78 one was a big one for me. The
The
Exorcist.
helicopter.
Yeah, Helicopters,
Yeah.
classic. That kind of got me into makeup effects, that movie. That
Okay, cool. Yeah.
that and the Howling. Both of those movies were like, "Oh man, I got to learn this
Oh
stuff," which
yeah.
has totally set me on my whole makeup effects career. Um
Yeah.
uh uh Blue Velvet is another favorite, which is
Yeah.
kind of a horror movie in a way, I
It's
think.
it's like one of the scariest movies ever.
Yeah,
I mean, Dennis
Frank
Hopper is
is,
just
yeah,
yeah,
he's one of the scariest characters ever. Um
ever.
um yeah, there's so many. Eraserhead, also another one that's kind of not a horror movie, but is sort of.
Yeah. Has
Uh,
a small monster in it. Or
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
baby monster.
Yeah. I mean, Halloween was a big one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was kind of the one that started. I was never like a big slasher guy, but that one,
Mm,
I liked the vibes. I thought it was super creepy. I like the movies that are creepy rather than
yeah.
like jump scares, and although Halloween had a lot of jump scares, but I like the creep factor, the
Mm.
creepiness, which is why I like Night of the Living Dead. I felt it was really creepy, just the idea of,
It's really creepy.
yeah, I like creepy stuff more than
Yeah.
anything. Um, so
The Asians are fucking amazing at it, like in Korea and
oh
Japan.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's amazing, the amazing
Yeah.
movies that are coming out, that have come out of Korea, like
Yeah.
the Grudge and the Eye
Yeah.
and all those. They kind of revived.
A Tale of Two Sisters. Have you seen that
I haven't
one?
seen that one yet.
Amazing. It's
Really?
like eerie, creepy scene ever, and it takes place like in the
I've heard of
morning and
it. I haven't
night
watched.
and everything. It's just
All
fucking
right, I've got
amazing.
another thing to write down here.
Yeah.
I've seen that one and I've almost watched it before, but I haven't.
Uh,
Um, yeah, so I'm not.
How about bands? What?
Oh, The Thing, also The Thing, all John
Yeah,
Carpenter movies up to a certain point, you know. What about
yeah,
bands?
yeah,
I was uh, let's see. You know, I went through different phases in my
yeah,
life, you know. When I was a little kid,
yeah.
like I was really into Kiss. When I
Hmm.
was like 9 years old, 10 years old, I was totally into Kiss. And then I got into AC/DC,
Yeah.
and I got into um, Devo. I'm a huge Devo
Oh,
fan.
cool. Yeah,
And I still love Devo because they're so weird.
yeah.
Uh, and Rush. I got really into
Mhm.
Rush and prog for a while before I got into punk rock. And then it was Dead Kennedys, and
Mm.
was probably the big punk band for me. And then I got really. Do you know No Means No?
Yeah, yeah. Of
Oh,
course.
you know No
Yes.
Means No? Okay,
Yeah,
they're like
love them.
one of my favorite bands of all time. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny that you know them because you're in Denmark is why you know them, because nobody knows them in the United States. And
Really?
people in Canada, a lot of people in Canada don't even know them. Yeah, they're like totally
Mm.
unknown. Only like hardcore people that like weird music will know No Means
Yeah.
No. But I think I've only had one other person on this podcast that knew No Means No.
Yeah, I think like in the middle 90s when I was into like the more darker and industrial, that I
Mm-hmm.
mean, No Means No and the Melvins and
Mm-hmm.
not Circle Jerks, but the other jerks. What the fuck are they called? Can't remember now.
Not the
Oh,
Circle
anyways,
Jerks. Well, yeah. So yeah, No Means No is huge. And
yeah.
it's funny because I knew when I went to Berlin, I had a show in Berlin. People knew about No Means No there because all their following was like in Scandinavia and in Europe. That's where they
Okay,
had their
cool.
big
Yeah,
following. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's funny. I was wondering if you'd know them. Uh,
yeah. No, yeah. I really, really, I love them.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
great. Minutemen. You ever heard the Minutemen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Minutemen fan too. Um, those are.
Sepultura, but after Cavalera actually did a cover version of Devo's Mongoloid.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
I like the Devo version better though. But
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to beat the original, but
yeah,
yeah. I was into Black Sabbath.
yeah.
As far as metal bands, Black Sabbath. Like I went through Iron Maiden. I was listening to for a while. The Scorpions, the early
Mm-hmm.
Scorpions, kind of early '80s, late '70s Scorpions. How about UFO? You ever heard that band UFO?
No.
Because that's another band that they had this amazing live album that was just the album in the late '70s, and it's so good. It has so many good songs on it. What's it called? It's called Strangers in the Night, I think. But anyway, they're one of these bands. They were like a kind of early proto metal
Oh,
band
cool.
called UFO. Yeah, if you check,
It's just a fucking amazing name for a band UFO.
yeah,
It's just
it was the guy from the Scorpions, Michael Schenker, the guitar player, I think. Anyway, they're great. It's a band you
Do
should
you
check out.
remember the Christopher Walken movie Communion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
it's
great
just
one.
yeah. It's also it's involuntarily creepy in some way.
Oh, that weird little toy thing that comes to him. Remember that
Yeah,
weird like a robot toy looking thing that like it's got a smiley face and it's kind of walking in the air when he gets
yeah. Oh,
the
is that from Communion?
yeah, communion, yeah,
Yeah,
the alien
I
movie.
just remember the aliens and uh yeah
Watch
just the vibe of the movie. But I haven't seen it
watch
for
that part.
100 years.
I watched it recently because
Yeah,
I saw a clip, and that is one of the creepiest things in any movie. That it's like a toy with like a it looks like a toy, but it's some weird thing that apparently this guy like this happened to him. It's like based on a true story. This guy Whitley Strieber. Seriously, he had like he's one of the original guys that had a whatever happened to him. But
Cool. Yeah.
this thing is like it comes walking in like in the air, and it's
I,
so
yeah, I think the image kind of rings a
it's
bell
got
for
like
me.
two little eyes, black
Yeah.
eyes, and a smiley face, and it goes up to him, and then the mouth goes like that, and it's so weird that it makes you think something weird happened to him, because you can't make
Yeah.
something that weird up, because there's
No.
no way that would fly in a movie. If you said, oh yeah, this thing kind of looks like a kid's toy, but
Yeah.
watch even if you just go to YouTube and watch the clip of
Yeah. But yeah, I have to watch it again. It is such a really, really weird
yeah,
movie.
yeah, it
It
definitely
has
got
this like
weird
weird
vibes to
vibe to it.
it. But I just
So
watched it
weird.
recently, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is pretty fucking cool, because I did the audiobook of it
Yeah.
too. But yeah, there's a lot of great weird movies out
Yeah.
there. Um,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna let you go now, because I feel like I'm taking too much of your time. I've already gone like a half hour longer than I said we would. But I enjoy talking to you. I
Completely
really.
fine. This is fun.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I it's my only, just about my only social contact is doing this podcast. Otherwise, I'm just in the studio by myself. So it's like I get to
Yeah.
make new friends every week and then talk to
That's
them.
cool.
And so, but
Yeah.
honestly, I hopefully you can come on again sometime. Maybe
I would love to.
when you have something to promote as well,
Yeah.
because I did want to talk more about, I don't know, your artwork
Mm.
and inspirations and all that. I feel like we
Mm.
have plenty more to talk about. So
Yeah.
hopefully you'll come back on again.
Just say when.
Okay.
This was so fun. I'm more than willing to come back on.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. It was so great meeting you.
Yeah, likewise.
Again, love your work. I'm sure everybody's
Likewise.
seen it, but they should go and check it out. The links are all in the, you can tell people where to go. The links are in the body of the text below the video, but tell people where.
Yeah. Yeah, go to my Instagram, check that out, and then go to Link Løvendal if you want to buy some stuff. There's not that much on my big cartel at the moment, but I'll just go to Fantagraphics and buy Night Terror and the
Yeah.
Christmas Bestiarium. Yeah,
Excellent.
and I think that's where I'm where to get my stuff and see
Cool.
what I do.
Yes. I'm sure that people are fans in the dark art. People that listen to the podcast are already fans, but if you're not,
Okay, cool.
this guy's amazing. So anyway, okay. The last thing we have to do is say goodbye to the audience in whatever way you want. Just say goodbye. I just say goodbye, audience.
Okay. Okay, to all you weirdos out there, goodbye. We're not all the same. We're different, different from most people. Don't cry. You're okay. Don't stop being weird. Goodbye.
Goodbye.